Oops. All right, welcome everyone. Today we have a special guest, Trooper Tiffany Baylark, just in time for April Safety Driving Month. So please tell us all of your accolades and your years with service. Welcome, Trooper Baylark.
I thank you for having me. Like she said, my name is Trooper Tiffany Baylark. I work with the Kansas Highway Patrol. I'm based out of the office in Olathe. I've been a trooper here for 18 years and all here in the Kansas City Metro. I've been the PRO, which is my role currently, off and on since 2015. So that means I teach safety programs and I deal with media relations and things like that. And that's why I've been asked to do this presentation for you guys today. Um, I can start if you're ready for me to
Yes,
start.
yes, we are ready. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to hit just a few topics. Um, got just general safe driving and distracted driving, and then whatever off the wall questions you all might have of me, and just some few things that were brought to me beforehand that we'll kind of talk about later. So to start off with, talking about driving in inclement weather, and we're about to be considered spring. It's still cold, so a little bit still winter time, but during this inclement weather time, we've got potential of fog and rain. And super important during that time, we need to make sure that we are driving with our lights on. A lot of times people are like, I can see just fine. I don't need to turn on my lights. But it's not always so much so you can see, it's so other people can see you. Like the picture on the right, there's a car there, but they don't have on their lights and other people around them can't see. So, and especially depending on the color of your car and the type of inclement weather, sometimes the color of your car makes it even harder to see you. So during inclement weather, we need to do our best with driving with our lights on. Driving in the rain and the fog, we always want to reduce our speed. The sight distance rule calls for you to adjust your speed so that you can see, or sorry, so that you can stop within the distance that you can see. So don't outdrive yourself. Don't just drive into the unknown. Uh, there's some places here in Kansas that kind of give you that reminder. And if you've ever driven on I-70 in the Flint Hills, there's a big yellow cautionary sign, and that says when they're burning the fields, the pastures, blowing smoke will come across the interstate, and you need to pull to the right shoulder and put your hazard lights on and not drive into that dense smoke. If you can't see, then you can't drive. Okay. We experience that in other places around the United States. Have any of you ever driven in Arizona when they have the dust storms? We even have dust storms here in Kansas, but like regularly in Arizona. So you're supposed to pull over and put your hazard lights on and stop. So reduce your speed, increase your following distance, because when you can't see ahead, you definitely want to have more space between you. Space is always your friend. Don't drive in a tight pack of cars. Every time you add an adverse condition, so fog, rain, standing water on the ground, you want to add another second of following distance. Our normal following distance should be 3 to 4 seconds. So if you're adding an adverse condition, you're going to add another second of that following distance. And we're going to use our low beams for our regular headlights and fog lights if you have those, and never use our high beams. High beams are going to reflect off of the fog and make it even harder to see. So just use your low lights there. Make sure that you are manually, I go here on your dash or here on your turn signal, manually turning on your lights. Sometimes the ambience of the lighting, it doesn't change even though there's an inclement weather of fog and rain. And so your lights don't automatically trigger that to turn on taillights. So people don't realize that, yeah, I have my auto lights on. Well, not every make and model does that give you tail lights. And so people are coming up on you and they don't see you. So make sure that you're manually turning your lights on. And then, especially in the rain, if your wipers are on in continuous motion, that means you have to have your headlights on. It is the law. Okay. So easy reminder, if your wipers are doing this constantly, oh yeah, I need to turn on my lights, make sure that people can see me. Winter driving. Hopefully we're done with this. I had a Facebook memory that I know it comes up every year. We had snow. I think it was May 5th or something like that. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to jinx us or anything, but hopefully we're done with the winter driving. But winter driving really has an impact on how we get around. So the biggest thing is time. You need to give yourself more time in everything. Time to get yourself ready, time to get your car ready, and time to get you to your destination. So getting yourself ready, it takes a lot more time to get those layers on. You can't just run out in your t-shirt and gym shorts and flip-flops because in the wintertime, what if you break down? Or what if you're in a crash? You need to be dressed and ready to be outside in those winter weather uh, conditions, not just you just ran out real quick. Okay. Getting your car ready. Please take the time to clear off your car. You're not a tank driver. Don't give yourself just a little porthole to view through. All right. If you can't see your left mirror, out your back mirror, or your right mirror, you need to clear off those windows to be able to see out those mirrors. All right. Um, if you have those massive mounds of snow on your car, please clear those off. You don't have to have a snow scraper or anything like that. A lot of times I just take a broom from inside my house to clear off my patrol car. It's a lot bigger, a lot easier, taller, and clear off all that snow on there. Having those big mountains of snow on there, it impacts everyone else around you. It's constantly blowing back on them, especially when we have the mixtures of snow and ice. You get those big sheets of ice that blow back. They damage other people's vehicles, their windshields. So make sure that you're taking the time to clear your car off all the way.
And in Canada, you get $1,000 fine if you don't if you drive with the snow on the roof.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There isn't a law for it. It's really just a safety and common courtesy for it. There is a law that you have to have your left and or your right and rear view mirror. So making sure that you can see out of those. But the massive mounds, there's no law because it's not
Mm-hmm.
considered a load
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. But so make sure you're clearing off that snow and frost on your vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need that time to get to our destination. Our routes can change quickly, sporadically, and for extended periods of time. So your best bet is to frequently check candrive.gov and you can see roadways are closed. This is an alternate route. This is how long this road is projected to be closed. So make sure that you're planning ahead to try and minimize those frustrations of, getting stuck somewhere and, you know, possibly ruining a trip or something like that, or just feeling stranded and not knowing what to do. Um, Now we're going to talk about just safe travel tips, things to consider. Know your travel route and watch those road conditions. A lot of times, our signboards, KC Scout will put up, it's raining, watch conditions. Some areas will puddle and better than, or better, not better, it's worse than other areas. But so watch for those road conditions, stay alert and aware of your surroundings, and make sure that you're really observant of what's going on. If you're seeing the car in front of you really kicked up a whole wake of water, then you need to know I need to let off the gas a little bit and kind of just ease through this and not end up hydroplaning. Keep your vehicle well maintained. The really harsh winters and extreme heats, those can impact your vehicle. And when you're continuing to push it and push it, we frequently see those broke down vehicles on the side of the road. Keep your phone charged. I feel like for the most part, people have a car charger or something like that in their vehicle. Make sure that your phone is charged, especially if you're going on trips. And don't let your fuel get low. General rule that I try and go by is nothing less than if I'm getting to a quarter of a tank, I'm pulling off to make sure that I have enough fuel. Because if you end up in a ditch somewhere, you need to keep your car on to keep cool or to keep heated, and you're going to end up running out of gas if it happens to be a while before somebody is ever around to help you. And make sure you're traveling well rested. Drowsy driving is very dangerous. It's just pretty similar to driving impaired. Um, Signs that you're falling asleep, you're on the nod, you got that really long, heavy blink, you can't open your eyes. Driving on the rumble strips or those, ooh, how about hit that, those near misses, or maybe like, did I miss my exit? You can't remember those last few miles. So make sure you're well rested. That way you're getting to where you want to go safely and not hurting anyone else around you. Uh, the basic maintenance that you need to do to take care of your vehicle is first, always look at your tires. Our tires are so neglected. Please pay attention to your tires. I know that they're expensive, but your tire tread and tire pressure, they're the things that make you go, make you stop, make you avoid stuff. Please pay attention to them. Um, a lot of our cars, they have a little light that says, hey, got a low tire. Some of them even say, hey, it's this one. And some of them even say, it only has this much air, but people keep driving and they ignore it. Please stop ignoring that. Go and get air in your tires. There's some gas stations that have free air. Please utilize that. Put air in your tires. I know it's a pain. Your hands get all dirty. Please make sure you have air in your tires. An underinflated tire, it actually is more costing to you because when a tire is properly inflated, there's only about this much contact on the pavement. And when it is underinflated, your tire lays out pudgy, right? So more of your tire sidewalls are rubbing on the ground. It costs you more fuel because more of that extra oomph to get the tire to keep turning. So make sure that you have enough of air in your tires. That way you're saving yourself a little bit of money too. And that tire tread, Kansas law says that if you have less than 2/32 of an inch of tread in your tires are deemed unsafe. Those big meaty tires, those are your best friends, but we all can't drive with new tires all the time, but make sure that you are having enough tread on there. So if you're seeing the wear bar between the tread grooves, you're seeing cords and your tires are smooth, it is definitely time to invest in some tires. Okay. Our lights, make sure that we're checking to see if our lights are working. Just driving with your high beams on because your low light is out is not sufficient. It still is blinding as people are going by. Sometimes when you hit your turn signal, it has a very fast blink. And usually that's a good indicator that your other turn signal is out. Make sure that you're checking your rear lights. If it's just you kind of parking away, that maybe you can see a reflection of a light coming on. That way that you still have brake lights and things like that. You want people to know, hey, I'm slowing down, I'm stopping, or I'm getting ready to turn. So make sure all those lights do work. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. And your hazard lights, yeah. Check your fluids, your oil, your washer fluid. and make sure, staying on top of that regular maintenance. Wiper blades. Have you ever noticed that it never fails that the wiper blade right in front of the driver's face is the one that's always like skipping, where this one wipes really good and this one didn't do anything right in front of you? Make sure that you're paying attention to your wiper blades. If you see a big chunk of the rubber hanging off, probably not working very well. So go get those wiper blades changed out. Traveling essentials, things that you should keep in your car when you're going out and about. Phone charger. I feel like most people kind of have one already in the car. A first aid kit. Doesn't have to be anything elaborate, just something that has maybe a couple of band-aids or some type of gauze if you end up really cutting yourself. If you've ever changed a tire, you might dig your hand into the ground or you get pinched by something and need something to wrap up your hand. A flashlight. Um, Most people have a flashlight part of their phone, but maybe it's not as bright as maybe you need. So if you have a spare flashlight to have in the car, it's always nice. Um, in the event that you do break down or you're in a crash, flares. I don't know too many people have ever had flares in their personal vehicles. I have them on a patrol car.
I
But
do. I
they're
go hiking, so I take
ah
it with me. So I do have that.
awesome. Be careful when you're hiking. You don't start anything on fire. Um,
I never used it. This is just in case we get lost or something. This is kind of like a last resort emergency
okay.
equipment.
Okay. Um, but they do help you know, people see you. They're very bright. Um,
Hmm.
a jump box or cables. I recommend a jump box because sometimes people don't want to stop to help you, or like our patrol cars, it's not recommended that we jump start anyone because of all the electronics in our cars. Let me pull this fuse and pull this fuse so it doesn't get fried and things like that. So jump boxes, they're fairly decent investment to make sure that you have in your car. Tire pressure gauge. If your car doesn't automatically tell you how much air you have, those are good to have, and a tread depth gauge as well, where you can use a quarter. It used to be a penny, but due to inflation, we use a quarter now. That's my little dad joke that I use for that. Jack for changing tires. Uh, you'll be surprised how many people don't have the tools needed to change a tire. So make sure you have all those things 4 ways and basic repair tools. If you're going to have to be tinkering around with something under the hood, you have some socket wrenches and things like that, screwdriver, whatever you need to mess around with your car. If you have a car that's generally breaking down, kind of what you're going to need in there. Not too many of our newer cars uh, that you're having to do stuff like that with, but just have those readily available if you're frequently breaking down. And then, especially in the winter time, we're gonna have our emergency blankets and coats and stuff like that. If you're traveling in the summertime, we want to have more bottles of water and all those things. What are some other things that you would add to the list? I feel like usually people talk about something for traction in the winter time, sand or kitty litter, sandbags, things like that. A shovel. Whenever people say a shovel, I'm like, where are you putting that? That's a big thing.
Well,
But
they
some
sell
people,
these short shovels. I
oh
got
yeah.
stuck in, we got stuck in snow, in sand, in Outer Banks.
Oh,
And you
okay.
need shovel there because we didn't know you are supposed to take the pressure of your tire to drive on sand.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of, you have to
Yeah.
you have to live on the coast to know these things. And so you can they sell these short shovels. And also when
Okay.
I used to go to KU and drive from Kansas City every day in the winter time, and I was the only one living here, I used to have candles, somebody to warm up the car in case I am on, candle and matches because I guess it warms up the car.
Yeah, be careful you don't
Unless
start
you set
anything
your
on fire.
exactly. Yeah. So I think the
Um,
candle, I don't know anything
okay,
else.
yeah. Or medications, extra medication, like maybe you have a prescription that you have to take twice a day, and if you get stranded in your car, you probably need that medication to have.
Mm-hmm.
Again, uh antifreeze, more washer fluid, when it's real slushy out, feel like you're constantly hitting your wipers and clearing off your windshield, running out of washer fluid. If your car's overheating often, it'd be good to have another jug of coolant in the car. Other hot hands, that's a good one. Yeah, that's one that I think about quite often is hot hands. Little packets you can put in your pockets, put in your gloves and your socks or whatever. Keep those
Mm-hmm.
extremities warm so you don't get frostbite. If you end up in the ditch in the wintertime and you're leaving your car on, make sure your exhaust on your tailpipe is clear. That way, all that exhaust is not staying in the car and you're
Mm-hmm.
not smothering yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to think about too. Sometimes people just don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get out and look or feel scared. But you don't want to sit there with the
Mm-hmm.
fumes coming back into the car.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What to do if you've been involved in a crash? We have a video here. Tell me, hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear?
It's nothing that we can do. No. Oh my Lord. It's nothing we can do, man. Wait, Tanika, wait. It's nothing you can do. It's best for you to stay in the truck, man. Oh my Lord.
So she kept saying, we have to get out. We have to get out. And he said, no, it's best if you just stay in the truck. I know it's scary and all this stuff is happening around you, but especially in that situation, getting out, where are you going to go? These cars are sliding and crashing all around you, and getting out is not your safest option. Um, but here, if there's a crash, what is your role? Did you witness the crash? Did you stop at the crash? Are you involved in the crash? Um, if you're a witness, you can call in or you can stop. Some people choose not to stop anymore. But calling in, you could be the first person to call 911 and get first responders en route. Um, ABC steps to take if you are involved in a crash. A means assist the injured, if it's safe to do so, if you have the ability to do so. Um, you're covered by the Good Samaritan law for basic first aid stuff. Don't give somebody a trach with a ballpoint pen because you saw it on the Good Doctor. That's the stuff that'll get you sued. That is beyond your scope of training. You are not qualified to do that. So stick to the basic stuff, like putting pressure on wounds, or if you know how to use a tourniquet or things like that, CPR. So if all that stuff seems gross and yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to touch anybody. I don't want to put my mouth on anybody. If they've been ejected, if their body's out in the road, please pull them to the side so they don't get run over. Some people aren't paying attention. When there's one crash, there's usually another. A stands for assist the injured. B stands for be visible. We want to turn on our hazard lights. If you have those flares or cones or triangles, please put them out. You want to make sure that people are aware. Put them out further down so people have a chance to see something that's going on ahead and they're not still just running right into you. Um, and C stands for communicate. Call star 47 goes to the Kansas Highway Patrol. 582 goes to the Turnpike, KTA, and 911. If you're on the interstates, star 47 582. That's usually something for the Kansas Highway Patrol or the Turnpike. 911, you can get help on any city street or on the highways. But if you're on the highway, or sorry, on the city streets and stuff like that, if you're in town, I probably wouldn't call star 47 or 582. No, we can help you, but we generally wouldn't be close in on a city street when we would more likely be out on the interstate. All right, I have this little video.
Well, now to Florida, where a state trooper is recovering after he was hit by an out-of-control car. We should warn you that the video you were about to see may be disturbing. CBS affiliate WPEC was covering an accident when a truck hit a car, and the car then spun into the trooper. This happened on I-95 near West Palm Beach, and if you watch closely, you'll see the trooper there push the driver he was helping out of the way before he was struck by the car. We're told that trooper is in good condition.
All right.
Well, now to Florida.
I mentioned a little bit earlier, when there's one crash, there's always another crash. So first steps to take you want to do is try and stay calm, right? Check yourself and your passengers for any injuries, and do not exit your vehicle while it's in the roadway. If you have to exit, make sure you are watching traffic. Before you open the door, look out, look to see if somebody's coming, listen. Are you hearing, those tires squealing, people on their brakes? Pay attention around you, okay? People are not generally paying attention, and they might be looking at what's going on over here and then miss that you're over here in the lane and they're going to run into you. So be very careful. The safest place for you is inside your car. So this is clearly a slick road. Was not ideal for that guy to be out of the vehicle. Step 2, if your car is operable and there's no injuries or fatalities, move your vehicle out of the roadway. All right, get to the shoulder, exit ramp, a parking lot or something close by. Don't drive 5 miles down the road kind of thing, but get out of the roadway. All right. It is the law. So there's that for you. It's kind of long, but if you can move, make sure you do.
Sergeant Cade Brenchley was responding to multiple slide-offs in snowy Sardine Canyon, Utah, when this happened. Thankfully, Brenchley survived the incident and is now recovering in hospital, nursing broken ribs and a broken scapula. This is the 11th Utah trooper to be hit by a vehicle in 2018. In 2017, 10 officers were hit over the course of the entire year. Needless to say, this video comes as a reminder to drive safely in all weather conditions.
So a big thing with that, I'm not dogging this trooper at all, but when there's one crash, there's generally going to be another crash in that same area, people driving over the same slick spots. If you notice, that black car almost went right through the same tire tracks that the white car went through as they went off the roadway. Make sure that you are always looking around you and paying attention if you do get out of your vehicle. If you're out of your vehicle trying to exchange information with the other parties involved, pay attention, always look back at traffic. Do not turn your back to traffic, and do not stand between the two cars. That is no man's land. It's a good place to lose your legs and potentially your life. All right. I'm always looking back at traffic, and you want to run the direction that the car came from, because they won't generally go back. Okay. So don't try and dodge a car and try and figure out which way they'll go, because sometimes they go in unexpected direction sliding, but they're not generally going to go back from where they came. Step 3. All right. After we checked all of us, we're good. All right. We got our car out of the roadway. We still need to call law enforcement and let them know, hey, I've been involved in a crash. You're going to tell them, this is where I am. I'm okay. I hurt my back, but I'm okay. And we're not in the roadway. We got our cars out of the lane, and so there's no road blockage. Make sure you're giving that information to the dispatcher whenever you call. The law about notifying, basically any crash that has more than $1,000 worth of property damage, you're required to notify. If anyone is injured or dead, you better be on the phone. It's pretty bad consequences if you don't. Hit and runs and things like that are not in your best interest. It's pretty lengthy. Leave it up there a second if you want. All right, step 4. What if the police aren't coming? You ever heard here in the metro, you'll hear a lot of your police stations and sheriff's office, they'll do walk-in reports. So what if the police aren't coming? Think, what would an officer ask for? And just think about these things. They're going to get the driver's license, their name and date of birth, insurance company, a policy number, license plate number or the tag, and the VIN. Don't just get the tag, because not everybody puts the tag on the car that it belongs to. So make sure you're getting the VIN. The VIN can be found in the lower left-hand corner of the windshield or driver's side door, like on the door frame. I know on my car, I've got little stickers of my VIN all over it, on my hatch of my trunk. The make and model of the vehicle, if we need to compare stuff. Location of the crash, especially if you're doing a walk-in, trying like, where was I? Did I pass this exit? Try and get mileposts. Most of our mileposts are every 2/10 of a mile, which is a nice little tip for you. And independent witnesses, those are always your best, because they have no skin in the game. So try and get an independent witness if you have one. Take photos, lots of photos. Sometimes someone wants to jam you up for other damage that was on their car and be like, that's rusted. That wasn't me. That was there before. I'll buy you a new bumper, but that's it. So make sure that you're taking lots of photos. The Kansas Highway Patrol has what we call a crash information exchange form, and we'll provide that to you. It'll have the location, the date, our number, name, number, and a case number at the top right-hand corner to give to your insurance company. They'll have all the parties' contact information, vehicle information, and insurance information on there that you could give that form exactly to your insurance company and say, here you go. The rest is on you. This is what I pay you the big bucks for, right? So that's our little way to help with the process of getting all the things you need in order to file a claim with your insurance company. All right, there's a lot of steps in this. Step 6, contact your insurance company. Some people think that they want well, they hit me, I'll let their insurance company take care of it. There's no harm in you contacting them first. So some people are like, oh, there's no damage to my car, I'm not going to say anything. So just go ahead and contact your insurance company and provide that information exchange form, any additional witnesses that you may have got, and whatever photos or videos that you took. All right. Distracted driving. Hopefully those crashes were not due to being distracted, because 1 in 4 crashes are caused by distracted driving. We want to make sure that we are giving our full time and attention to driving. So at the movies, everyone's like, what happened? I missed it because you had your face buried in the phone. So, distracted driving is anything that takes any activity that takes you away from your primary task of driving, um, all these things that are going on inside and outside of our vehicles, they take you away from just focusing on driving. And we need to get back to just driving. There are three types of distractions. The visual, taking your eyes off of the road, looking down at something. Manual or physical, taking your hands off the wheel, reaching to change the station, scrolling your phone or whatever, and cognitive, mental, and taking your mind off of driving. You should kind of have as you're driving, it should be a play-by-play. Like they look like they've failed to maintain their lane a few times, driving over the line. Like I'm watching them, paying attention. Traffic ahead I see brake lights. I need to start slowing down. So these three types of distractions are really important when we talk about cell phone use, because texting while driving hits all three of these distractions. That's why it's so dangerous. Our eyes are looking down at our phone, our hand is holding the phone, and your mind, you're thinking about what you're reading, writing, or sending. And so you're not thinking about driving. So that's why texting while driving is so dangerous. Can any of you read this? Multitasking isn't as easy as we think. And generally, a lot of women say, especially moms, say, I'm a great multitasker. I run this whole house, right? And in fact, we're not a good multitasker, because once you add anything, the original task at hand, the quality of that is going to diminish. So, if I'm folding clothes and trying to keep an eye on my kid, I can be folding this pile of clothes, and then my kid is going to climb and knock over the other pile of clothes because I was focused on this and not watching the kid. So you can't do more than one thing at a time. As much as you think that you can, you really can't. One is going to suffer. What are some activities that distract drivers inside the car? Texting, that's a big one. We say phone use. And eating, drinking, grooming. Well, you probably get away with some road trip type snacks. You are taking your hand off the wheel and stuff like that. You probably shouldn't eat like a taco while driving or a bowl of cereal. That's not really conducive to behind the wheel. Drinking, that's usually okay. Sometimes people fumble with a cap and maybe they get flustered by that. Grooming. I've seen women putting on makeup. I've seen men shaving. They make electric razors that plug into the cigarette lighter. So those are all not good things to do while we're driving. Talking to passengers. People are so surprised by having a conversation with your passengers, how dangerous that is. If any of you have teen drivers who have their graduated driver's license, those 14, 15-year-olds, we took away electronics and non-family member passengers because of that distraction of jacking around talking to our friends and stuff like that. Passengers are super distracting. Reading, you would be surprised, or maybe not, how many times I see people in rush hour traffic reading a book or a full-blown newspaper. I'm like, first of all, where did you find a newspaper at? But yeah, people are reading while they're driving. I'm like, have you not ever heard of an audiobook? Using GPS. The texting while driving statute, it does have an exemption for the use of GPS, but I will still stop you if your face is buried in your phone. You can very much so be distracted by your GPS because you don't have an idea of where you're going ahead of time. Have you ever been around somebody and you can tell that they're lost? They're driving really slow, looking around like, I don't know where my exit is, or they make a last minute cut across the lanes to take the exit. So being distracted by your GPS is still very dangerous. Have an idea of where you're going ahead of time. Mileposts are consecutive. Your exit is not for 20 miles. Get your face out of your phone, okay? Watching a video. just drive. You don't need to watch videos to pass the time. Look at the scenery. Radios, if you're messing around trying to change things, when we took away the electronics from those teen drivers, I saw people all the time going through their playlist. Just put it on shuffle or pick a genre. You don't need to keep changing it. Okay. And talking on the phone. Talking on the phone is that mental, that cognitive distraction. There are 2 cities in the state of Kansas that have a hands-free law, Manhattan and Junction City. As you hit the city limits, it tells you that you have to be hands-free. Being hands-free does not necessarily mean that you are less likely to be involved in a crash, because it still has that cognitive distraction. So just be aware of that. And if you didn't know, in January of this year, Missouri is fully on board now of being a hands-free state. There are other states like California and New York, like big states like that, that do have a hands-free law, but Missouri is hands-free now. So when you cross into Missouri, you can't talk on the phone. You have to be Bluetooth, okay? All right. Oh, I missed one. Oh, other distractions. Any of you guys drive with your pets in the car? There's some pets that will just chill and be your passenger princess, but then there's some that are just neurotic, crazy. You see them jumping all over the place. I've seen some that I'm like, oh my gosh, they look like they're about to fall out the window, right? So pets, they're a huge distraction. If you have a barrier from like the back seat, if you can kennel them or something like that, it's probably the safest way to travel with them. Kids, I have 5 of them. So there's always somebody, I need this. Can I get your hotspot? He's touching me, all that fun stuff, right? And then just life in general. Like I said, I have 5 kids, so I'm constantly thinking, this is what I have to do. This is where I'm going. Who needs picked up? Who's got an activity after school? Who needs some snack or whatever? I'm constantly life. Life is very distracting. So try to use your travel time as like your me time. Have you ever driven, like turn the music off and just drive in silence and like use that moment to kind of just like decompress and like, I don't have anybody in here telling me that they need something, that they want something. So just try to forget about something in that little commute that you might have to avoid any of those distractions. So those are distractions inside the vehicle. There's plenty of distractions outside the car too, but try to stay focused. How long does that text really take your eyes off the road? Some people will text you a novel. Texts are meant to be generally short little blips, but the average
You're on your way to meet up with
is-
friends, but you can't seem to get anywhere quickly. You don't want your friends to be annoyed, so you text. You're on your way. Five seconds is the average time your eyes are off the road while texting while driving. Make sure you get where you're going.
So 5 seconds, average time your eyes are off the road, 55 miles per hour. It's enough time to cover the length of a football field. You are missing so much that's going on around you. Those quick seconds of looking down, grabbing your phone, thinking about what you're going to text. And we've seen in some crashes where people don't even finish their text because they've missed something that's gone on around them.
Ashley would text hundreds of messages every day. That was the way we kept in touch. We would definitely text more than we talked.
Mariah was a multitasker extraordinaire.
She could text better than anyone I know. She could be having one conversation with me, completely focused,
while having a text conversation with somebody else.
Would be at school, at home, movies, bowling, driving.
not even looking at her phone.
It didn't matter where we were constantly texting. This is my sister. She was looking at my message that I had just sent her. When she looked up, she had clipped the median on the left-hand side of the road. Her truck flipped, and as it was flipping, she was actually ejected through the driver's side door, and she landed in the ditch about 300 feet from her truck. People will tell you over and over again, it's not your fault. But knowing that you were the person that she was talking to when she was killed, just knowing, having a highway patrol officer write in a report that a text message sent at 12:05 is the reason that she is dead is not something that will ever go away. If I could talk to her one last time, I would just say, I'm sorry. This is her cell phone that she used in the accident. 4 little letters. That's what killed her.
You know, the texting part took her eyes off the road. She probably would have been fared better if she was wearing her seatbelt, but you know, those quick little texts, you know, and she was just reading that, and she looked down long enough that she went off the roadway. So her sister texting her, she knew that she was driving, but she still kept texting her, right? So 88% of us, we talk about, you know, it's not safe to be on your phone and we don't like it. But we don't say anything, and we don't go any further with it. And then some people want to complain about it. They'll cuss somebody out that's on their phone next to them on the road. And then 5 seconds later, they'll be on their phone. Like they're any better at it. So don't think that you're invincible from these crashes as well. Okay. Just because somebody else, doesn't do it as good as you, that doesn't make you good at it. Okay. So just put your phones away, out of sight, out of mind. All right. If you are sending, reading, writing, written form of communication, then that's what the texting while driving law prohibits. Okay. The $60 fine plus court costs. I think court costs in Wyandotte County is $109. So that's really not that much money. I wish it was more because of how bad it is, you know. There's real consequences. This one I feel like hits more about empathy.
So is this right? I just confess that I text and drive?
If I get a text, I'll look at my phone.
It's definitely texting.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Snapchat. I do Snapchat and drive sometimes.
Is that like making Snapchats or watching them?
Making them.
Texting is like my main form of communication.
Boredom, honestly.
And B, well, no, I guess no, it's really just A.
I've only never done it at stoplights. I've always been really good about it.
The passenger has a pretty important role driving now, where they're like, oh, red light, red light.
If someone that you like texts you, you're like, you can't just like let it sit there without just knowing what they said.
Because what if something exciting's happening or something happened?
Like every time I do it, I think about, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I just keep doing it.
So I'd like to, want to introduce you to a friend of ours.
My name is JC.
Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Dash.
Justin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I just really quickly want to have a chat, tell you what happened to me. When I was 21 years old, driving home from my college graduation ceremony, driver on his phone was so distracted. He turned left into the intersection at a red light. Another car, an 18-wheeler, swerved to miss him and hit my family's car. And the resulting collision actually killed both of my parents. I spent 2 months in the hospital fighting for my own life, and then 2 more months in a rehab hospital, learning how to walk again, learning how to speak again, learning how to dress myself and how to feed myself. I live with a partially paralyzed body. I didn't have my daddy to walk me down the aisle when I got married.
Having sort of like met JC, because you look at JC and sort of give those same reasons.
Usually I use my phone to change a song on. I try to use it as little as possible.
Trying to downplay their actions now.
I'm not gonna look at my phone ever again.
Honestly, if I have been sitting at a red light, I'll like glance down to see if my mom's texting me, but the people's lives that are impacted from something that is so stupid.
I can assure you on my drive home right now, I'm not going to use my phone and drive, and I'm not going to do it when I go to work tomorrow and the next day after that until, you know, it becomes a habit, and that just doesn't happen at all.
I know this is hard. I'm sorry. It's hard for me too, but you know this is real. You have the power to really actually make a difference and do something about it.
Thank you.
So the consequences are very real. Whatever their excuses were for it, you know, boredom, Snapchats or whatever, selfies, and doing it at stoplights. None of those make it any better. A lot of times I get people asking me, well, I'm at a stoplight. I'm not actually driving. The best way for me to get them to realize that you still are driving is, can you get a DUI at a stoplight? Yes. Okay. How many times have you been behind somebody and the light turned green and they didn't go yet because their face is buried in their phone, right? Or they think that they have their foot pressed into the brake, but it's not all the way pressed in and they're rolling forward. Okay. So whether you're at a stoplight or not, still can't be on your phone, right? And a lot of times when I see somebody texting while driving, I say texting while driving because that's what the statute is. A lot of times they're not actually texting, not actually talking to anyone. They're just scrolling, thumbing through social media because they're bored while they're driving. And they're using their phones to help pass the time. Please stop, okay? Use that as your me time and try and avoid that obsession of your phone. So what can we do? So put our phones on silent while driving. Most of our phones, Apple, Android, they have an app. It's part of your settings feature that you can put a do not disturb on. You don't have to remember to put it on when you get going. It recognizes when you're moving and it turns it on. It sends an auto reply to whoever's trying to reach you that you're driving, and you will contact them when you get to your destination. And then it turns off when you get there, and then you have a new text. Put your phones in a safe place out of reach, because even though our phones are on silent, so, you know, my phone might be sitting here on silent or vibrate, and it buzzes, and it still makes you go, what was that? You know, we personalize our phones. We choose what we get notifications for. Ooh, I want to know when this comes. I want to know when someone's on my front porch. And I'm like, who is that? So it still gets our attention. You're still tempted by it. So, you know, it's not a teenage issue as much as people used to really think that it was. I actually don't come across too many teenagers Here in the metro, I mostly see, young adults, so 18, 19 to 70s, 80s. Huge indicator when someone is on their phone is that they have their readers on down low on their nose because they're trying to drive and then look down at their phone. So put them in a safe place, out of reach. If it's absolutely necessary that you have to be on your phone, just pull over. A lot of times I've stopped on vehicles on the side of the road. Hey, is something wrong with your car? Nope, just pulled over to answer this text or make this phone call. Awesome, appreciate it. Thank you. Not that hard, right? And then have passengers if you need to. Hey, mom said she was going to text us that she needed us to pick something up from the store on the way home. If you don't want anyone to see it, then pull over. But ask your passenger to do that if they can. All right. I think that is all of my safe driving safety tip questions. I know that one question that was brought to my attention beforehand, somebody had asked about, is it illegal to drive barefoot? No, it is not illegal to drive barefoot. It is probably not in your best interest because you're not as able to have that firm foot as flat as your bottom of your shoe, but it is not illegal. I've had to drive in a barefoot one time and it feels really funny. So it's not illegal, just not the safest option. Okay. Any other questions?
Also, I just was wondering if it is illegal or not a courtesy or what the rules are filming a police officer or highway patrol.
It is not illegal. We have in-car cameras that are videoing as well. But you're more than welcome to video us. We are public servants. We don't have anything to hide. We're out there doing our job. So film away.
All right. Just so also at the beginning you said there are some car colors which are more visible than others. I just know red cars are the most to get ticketed the most, so that's not the recommended color. But what are the least visible? I would assume gray or what?
So it depends on the weather, the time of the day. So at night, a black or dark colored car with no lights on, really hard to see. During snow, fog, those whiteout conditions, a white, cream, silver colored car, those are hard to see.
I see.
So
Okay.
depends.
And when you are stopped by a police officer or highway patrol, you are supposed to remain in your vehicle with your hands on the wheel, right?
Yeah, so it's a cultural thing, a geographical thing, an age thing, where depending on those categories, it was a thing that you used to get out of your vehicle and greet the law enforcement officer as they were approaching you. Highly not recommended up here. Stay in your vehicle. Stay in your vehicle, and you don't have to be like some people are exaggerate and want to sit like this. Just hands on the wheel. Don't be, even if your wallet is in your backpack and in the back seat, don't dig around or anything like that. If it's something that's quick, readily available, that's fine. When I make a traffic stop and I ask for your driver's license and proof of insurance, say, hey, my bag, my wallet's in my bag. And I'm like, okay, you can get it, or do you need me to grab it for you? And I'll just watch them grab it. That way I can see where their hands are. That way I don't get shot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this was an excellent presentation, totally above my expectations. But the videos were very powerful. I hope it's played in every high school and to everyone, because those were very powerful videos. Thank you so much, Trooper Baylark, for spending an hour with us, and thank you for all of your hard work and for servicing the citizens of Kansas. Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Thank you.